What's up, guys? Mickle here, and today is the 2-year anniversary of the Ripple SEC case. Guys, in this video, I want to talk about where we stand in this case right now. What do we have left? How much longer is this thing going to drag on? And guys, most importantly, is a settlement still possible? John Deaton once made the prediction that once the SEC was forced to hand over the Bill Hinman Ethereum Free Pass emails, we would see a settlement within 90 days. Guys, we're going to talk about that as well as a brand new case the SEC just launched against a new cryptocurrency. Guys, we actually have some very interesting perspectives on this new case by the SEC, and in my opinion, it's pretty bullish for XRP, so make sure you stick around for that. Like always, guys, your support means so much to this channel. If you want to see more videos just like this, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button down below and turn on bell notifications. These 3 simple things are going to go such a long way in helping this channel grow, and it really does mean so much to me. If you guys ever need a good place to buy some XRP, make sure to check out my link for Uphold down in the description below. Uphold is my favorite place to buy XRP. With that said though, guys, let's jump right into the video, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. So guys, real quick, moomoo just upped their holiday promotion, and you can now win 20 free stocks if you sign up with moomoo using the link in the description of this video. Guys, you can also win a chance to win $60,000 in their holiday sweepstakes. Guys, moomoo is an awesome trading platform. They have a great interface and they're regulated. So guys, do not miss out on this opportunity to get some free money, and go sign up with moomoo now using the link in the description of this video. So guys, it's pretty wild that today is the 2-year anniversary of this case. I think when this case first started, a lot of people assumed it would be a pretty quick settlement, but to our surprise, it actually turned out to be a pretty good thing that there wasn't a quick settlement. I think when this case started, a lot of people didn't see the SEC as such an evil entity as we see them now. But guys, now we know that if there was a quick settlement in this case, it would have been the SEC calling XRP itself a security and essentially trying to destroy the cryptocurrency. The fact that Ripple has made it this far just shows how strong their position really is. But guys, in this video, I kind of want to analyze whether a settlement is still possible, because we have some very interesting opinions from some very well-respected lawyers in this community. I want to start off though and talk about what we have left in this case, because guys, we are so close to the end of this thing. First of all, we have summary judgment fully briefed, as well as motions to exclude expert testimony. And guys, pretty much the last thing we have left is just different parties asking Judge Torres to seal different documents. Now, this is pretty interesting because guys, most of the work is done here. This case is fully briefed in front of Judge Torres, and now she can essentially make a ruling at any moment. Most likely, we're going to have to wait until at least January 18th, because she's not going to release any final verdict before all the parties have weighed in on what they want sealed. But guys, after January 18th, it's just up to Judge Torres to see how long it takes for her to write her final motion. Now guys, this is very exciting because I have said multiple times, Ripple is looking amazing for winning this case at summary judgment, because the SEC has yet to answer the most important question in this case, and that is, where is the investment contract between Ripple and XRP holders? This is a question that the SEC was completely unable to answer, and I think it's going to come back to bite the SEC big time in this case. Now, in terms of whether or not this case is going to settle, I think Attorney Fred had a very interesting perspective. We're also going to go over John Deaton's perspective in a minute, but I thought this was really intelligent. He said it could happen at any moment, but my base case estimation is that no settlement until after summary judgment. And that only happens if Ripple has a significant win at summary judgment and agrees to settle in exchange for the SEC waiving its right to appeal. So guys, this is a pretty clever thought by Attorney Fred here, and something I'd never really thought of. He essentially thinks that the SEC is going to wait until Judge Torres gives her final verdict, and then essentially go to Ripple and say, okay, if you don't settle with us right now, we're going to sue you again and appeal this decision. That way, it kind of forces Ripple into settling this case, so that way the SEC can make sure it limits the damage control. The SEC still has more threats towards Ripple, unfortunately. Ripple does not want another instance of this case, but to be honest, I don't think the SEC does either. I think this is a pretty sensible prediction by Attorney Fred, and honestly, it makes a lot of sense. Essentially, what the SEC would be able to do is say, hey, even though the judge ruled all XRP sales did not violate securities transactions, you're going to agree that you did violate securities laws in the early days, you're going to pay us a fine, XRP going forward is not a security, but you're going to settle this case with us so you don't have to worry about us appealing it to another level court. Guys, the last thing Ripple wants is for this case to go to another appeal. They want it over with, and they want clarity in the United States. Now, a lot of people are wondering, if the SEC does appeal this, if they can't agree to a settlement, what is the status of XRP? And guys, according to attorney Fred, that's actually up to Judge Torres. Judge Torres is going to have to make the determination. Is the assumption that XRP is not a security until the SEC goes through their entire appeal and possibly wins there? Or is until the SEC's appeal completely done, are we in a state of limbo where no one knows the status of XRP? Well, guys, I think this is a massive reason why John Deaton is such a critical factor in this case. I do not think Judge Torres is going to do XRP holders like that. I think she understands that there are XRP holders in the United States who can no longer transact in their XRP. This is a massive issue. It is hurting the public big time, and I don't think Judge Torres is the type of judge to leave XRP holders in that position. This is why it is so massive that John Deaton got involved in this case. He is bringing this issue to the forefront, and a massive reason why I think that if the SEC does choose to appeal it, until the SEC wins their appeal, which I don't think they will, and a lot of lawyers don't think they will win this appeal, I think we're going to have clarity on XRP. So guys, I think this is a pretty interesting settlement prediction by attorney Fred. His base case is essentially that we are going to go all the way to summary judgment. Ripple and the SEC are going to find out who wins, but then essentially that Ripple will win. XRP is not a security, but the SEC is essentially going to offer Ripple immunity going forward. They're not going to go back after Ripple as long as Ripple settles and limits the damage to the SEC with an outright win saying XRP is not a security. This is going to make sure the SEC doesn't have to release things like the Hinman document, and honestly, I think this makes a lot of sense. Now, I want to move on and compare this to John Deaton's settlement prediction, because guys, we technically still have time for John Deaton's settlement prediction to come true. I want you guys to listen to John Deaton say it himself, and then we'll break down whether or not this is still probable based on the current environment. Listen up to this.
So John, taking that into consideration, I know that we recently saw Jeremy Hogan suggest that if there was going to be a settlement, he thought it might happen by the end of the year. And tell me if I'm wrong, but I think I read somewhere that 90% of all SEC cases end in the settlement, and if that's correct or not, but do you think that that is where we end?
Who was when they
up, or do you think this thing is going to go to the judge? How do you think this thing ends up?
If there was going to be a settlement, it would be from within 90 days of when they were forced to turn over the documents. And so my timeline agrees with Jeremy Hogan in that sense. Ongoing and future sales of XRP by Ripple and in the secondary market are not secured. That if they don't get that, there's not a settlement. If they get that, there's a settlement within minutes. I mean, I'm paraphrasing Stuart Alderati, but he basically said not to me, to the world, that a settlement happens very quickly if that happens. And if I'm advising Gary Gensler, I'm saying, look, these emails definitely are going to cause issue. We can seal all of this up right now in a settlement. Also, we're really gonna lose, Gary. We're gonna lose. Let's see if Ripple will pay, let's pick $100 million. Let's take that victory. We can narrow it and say that, each crypto is fact and circumstances, and just because XRP is not a security, that doesn't mean the others aren't, and we can still go after each other one.
So guys, you're probably thinking after listening to that, that made a lot of sense, and Ripple already has the Hinman document. So wouldn't it make sense for the SEC to actually settle this case before they're made public? Well, guys, there's one massive problem with John Deaton's prediction, and it's not his fault. It's actually because the Hinman documents took so long to get handed over to Ripple. And that is that it's actually now more probable that we will not see the Hinman documents released or a ruling on the Hinman documents specifically by Judge Torres to be released until we also have the summary judgment motion. The Hinman document issue got pushed off so much that now, according to James K. Filan, it makes the most sense for Judge Torres to rule on them both at the same time. This plays perfectly into what attorney Fred said. At summary judgment, Ripple and the SEC are going to find out, are the Hinman documents going to be made public in her summary judgment order? If they are going to be made public, if Judge Torres rules for them to be unsealed, the SEC is going to need to settle. But they also get to see what is the summary judgment ruling before they are forced to settle. A lot of people assumed in the past that we were going to have a ruling on the Hinman document separately, and the SEC was going to have to make a determination, do they want to risk going to summary judgment and these emails being made public, or are they just going to settle when the emails are about to be made public? Well, guys, unfortunately, it looks like summary judgment and the emails getting released are gonna happen at the same time, so the SEC gets to wait it out and see what happens with Judge Torres' summary judgment ruling. This is just something to consider. It's entirely possible that Judge Torres can go against what James K. Filan is saying here, rule on the Hinman documents before summary judgment, but guys, Jimmy James is a very smart lawyer. I have a feeling he's right here, and it does play into perfectly what attorney Fred was telling us earlier. The SEC is going to take this to summary judgment and then tell Ripple, hey, we won't sue you again as long as you settle this case right now. And guys, I want to finish this video off and talk about a brand new case just brought by the SEC, and this was against Thorchain. Now guys, the most interesting thing we can learn about this new case is the SEC is actually back to suing projects for their ICO. This means the SEC is realizing that their theory that the token itself is the security is not gaining traction. The SEC is back to going after the sale of the cryptocurrency rather than saying the cryptocurrency itself is the security. I think this shows that they're probably pretty upset with how things have gone in the Ripple SEC case. They're understanding that they're going to have a hard time proving that XRP itself is a security, so they might as well go back to the ICOs and say, look, if you sell a token to the public, that's a securities transaction. So guys, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. It's something we're going to keep our eye on, but it just shows the pivot in the SEC strategy. So let's see what happens. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this update. I was feeling pretty under the weather, but I wanted to make this video. There's a lot going on right now, and it's the 2-year anniversary of the Ripple SEC case. Had to bang it out. I hope everyone has a great night. I hope you're feeling better than me. And for now, Mickle out.